Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest technical analysis. We had one hell of a correction here today, but already back above 97,000. Also, this is interesting. Charles Schwab has MicroStrategy listed as a strong sell and an F rating. Can't make this ish up. Also, $1.5 trillion group, BPCE subsidiary, gets the approval to launch Bitcoin and crypto investment services to 35 million users in France. And quoting Max Kaiser, adding Bitcoin to El Salvador's strategic reserve is the #1 priority of President Bukele's economic policy. The goal, increase the Bitcoin per capita ratio for all Salvadorans to the highest in the world. Bitcoin is the only true wealth of a nation. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin ETFs hit a record 671.9 million of outflows in one day, as well as El Salvador buying 11 Bitcoin only a day after reaching a deal with the IMF. We'll be breaking this down for you as well as the Bitcoin Reserve Act may end crypto's 4-year boom-bust cycle, as well as Macau Van Day Pop says Bitcoin could surge another 400%, ultimately to 500,000 per coin. For this bull run, I'll be breaking down his timeline, as well as Cathie Wood, Foresees startup M&A surge as 1 million Bitcoin under Trump. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this plus so much more in today's show. Let's kick it off. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes, hit the bell icon. Half the people that watch are not subscribed. Then hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications, and receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week. Just like this, even when I'm on vacay. But anyways, today's pod is episode 1854. I'm your host, JV. It's December 20th, 2024. Bitcoin corrected this morning all the way down to 92. We're right back above 97 on the cusp of retesting 100. 108 is currently price discovery level, and we'll be back before you know it, especially considering we just struck the gong. But anyways, family, let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. As you can see on your screen, Bitcoin in the red, only down 3% of the day. Ether down 6%. Many of the alts correcting and in the red. Checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at $3.34 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap is $1.93 trillion. We got 361 billion of volume in the past 24 hours. And the current Bitcoin dominance is sitting at a sexy 57.6%. Ether dominance back on the decline at 12.2%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. We got Hype, we got Move, we got Leo. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles. You get a visual perspective on the day. Virtually everything correcting and in the red. And it's that season. Christmas is only 5 days out, family. And zooming out on the monthly, still the majority of the coins pumping and in the green. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, today we're 74, yesterday at 75, last week at 76, and last month at 83 in extreme greed. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 174,397 blocks till the next halving in 2028. We're currently on block 875,603. You currently exchange 1 U.S. fiat monopoly dollar for 1,026 sats. So consider that a blessing. You can get over 1,000 sats per dollar. We've already seen that drop to as low as 800 and something when we hit the 108 all-time high. So stack them sats, family. But anyways, let's keep the comments flowing. Let's break down the latest technical analysis, aka astrology for the broskies. Also be pulling up some of the live charts here. This headline here reads, Bitcoin price has legs above 100 G's despite holders booking record profits. Bitcoin's recent rally, the current top is 108, roughly 108.2 on Coinbase. The chart that I'm about to show you shows entities that hold Bitcoin for more than 155 days. We consider the long-term holders. Their behavior can often reflect a shift in the market sentiment. As of December 19th, yesterday, the supply held by the long-term hodlers dropped to 13 billion compared to the local peak of 14.2 billion 2 months ago. And in the same period, Bitcoin's price has risen around 58,000 to over 100,000, indicating long-term hodlers have been selling their holdings at the local highs. Now, the Bitcoin short-term hodlers are stepping in to absorb the sell-side pressure from the long-term hodlers. Notably, the long-term hodler supply decline has coincided with the rise of the Bitcoin supply held by the short-term hodlers. The ability of the short-term hodlers to absorb this selling pressure has likely played a key role in sustaining Bitcoin's price momentum above 100 Gs. Quoting analysts from Glassnode, The proportion of wealth held by these investors has not yet reached the highest experienced during the previous all-time high cycle tops. The interpretation here is that the market may have not reached the level of euphoric fervor and saturation by speculators seen in the prior cycles, aka you ain't seen nothing yet. We're going up forever, Laura. Another useful metric to assess the state of the market is the true market deviation ratio, which measures the average unrealized profit or paper gains. And speaking of paper, shout out to Paper the dog, held by the active investors. And based on participants' profitability, this ratio helps determine whether the market is overextended or still has room to rip. Historically, bull markets tend to peak when nearly all the investor categories achieve a substantial profit. This scenario often results in overwhelming sell-side pressure as investors lock in gains while the new buyers hesitate to enter the elevated price levels. Now, this ratio's extreme band, defined as a 3 standard deviation, typically signals such overheated conditions. As of December 19th, standing at a 1.8, well below the extreme band of a 2.3, as pointed out here by the Glassnode charts. This suggests that while the profits are rising, the market has not yet reached levels of unsustainable euphoria. So Bitcoin could continue to climb even higher before the profit taken and reduced demand create the real market reversal. Bitfinex says the Bitcoin price drop will be mild. That's right. Bitfinex Exchange estimates Bitcoin correction to be mild in the coming months, stating that the growing institutional demand will eventually propel the Bitcoin price to 145,000 by mid-2025 or 200,000 in the best case scenario. And you already know my bull scenario here. Let me share some of the targets. 1.1 million in play. That's coming from JV. 2.2 million in play. That's coming from Max Kaiser. He ultimately 10x his original 220 target. So let me know your thoughts on some of that. And what I'm going to do now is read some of the headlines here. And I found this interesting. Charles Schwab has MicroStrategy literally listed with a strong sell and F rating, which is the worst you can give a stock. Is there some sort of attack against Bitcoin companies? Probably. I mean, what else explains it? How is that even legal? It's like the worst rating possible when it's the best performing stock in the market. Kind of crazy, but I just figure I'd point that out. I found that ironic. And also breaking news today, 1.5 trillion group BPCE subsidiary gets approval to launch Bitcoin and crypto investment services for its 35 million users. The group BPCE is one of the largest banks in France. Let's go. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, adding Bitcoin to the El Salvador Strategic Reserve is the number one priority of Bukele's economic policy. The goal, increase the Bitcoin per capita ratio for all the Salvadorans to the highest of the world. Bitcoin is the only true wealth of a nation. Preach. And let's pull up some of the live charts. Let's see how we're looking here today. Again, we did tap 92,000, which is crazy here this morning, but we're right back at 97. Here you're looking at the 1 minute chart. So we're going to zoom this mofo out from the 1 hour and we'll work our way back from there. Here's the 1 hour chart. 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive green candles. Past 4 hours have been bullish. We do have a target in the red sitting at 1019. Again, this is on the 1 hour chart. And you can see there's a falling wedge formation, which began really yesterday. And zooming out from there, we'll check out the 4 hour chart. And this is live via Coinbase. We still have the rising wedge on the 4 hour. You can see the big corrective candle we had, and we're right back virtually where we left off. We're getting close. So you already know. And zooming out from the 4 hour, take a quick look at the 1 day chart. Survey says it's going up forever, Laura. We also have the rising wedge here, and you can see the corrective red candles for the past couple of days. So let's see how we likely pull this off. I think we'll be right back above 100,000 in no time, potentially here today. Let me know your thoughts, going into the weekend here. It's Christmas week, holiday season. Checking out the weekly chart. We did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive green weekly candle closes, which is good, but we're finally forming a red after the recent correction over the past couple of days. But the week's not over. We have till Sunday until the weekly close. And zooming out from the weekly, take a quick look at the monthly. And I must have forgot. We also still have the sexy cup and handle target in the weekly chart sitting at 124 G's. So don't get it twisted. 124 in play here in Q4. And zooming out on the monthly, you can see big Moonvember candle, and what just happened erased all our gains here in the past couple of days, but the month is young. We still got like 11 days left, virtually a week and a half until the end of the month, and putting a bow on 2024. A lot of outflows of the ETFs yesterday, hence part of the market, and I guess all the uncertainty with this alleged government shutdown manipulation sensation. But anyways, headline reads, Bitcoin ETFs hit a record 671 million of outflows in one day. A new record has been hit. That's right. ETFs faced significant sell-off December 19th, reaching net outflows of 671 million, marking the largest single-day outflow event thus far this year. According to Farside, the biggest outflow came from Grayscale GBTC, shedding 208 million, followed by ARK's ARKB, which fell 108 million. The fallout of these outflows aligned with the decline in Bitcoin's price as it hovered around 96,000, coinciding with more than $1 billion being liquidated from the market in 24 hours. Interesting. Notice that BlackRock didn't have the largest outflows because they're continuing to accumulate. Social value data showed that total net asset values of the ETFs was 109 billion as of December 19th, erasing most of the gains seen in December, which reached 121 billion December 17th. The biggest ETF outflows coincided with the drop of the Bitcoin price, resulting in a cumulative crypto ETF net outflow 732 million according to CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin dominance stood at 57%, continuing to hold the majority of the crypto market share despite the outflows. One analyst said the ongoing market decline may be short-lived. And again, we hit 92, we're already back at 97, so I agree 100%. And I think during bull cycles, that's precisely what we can expect, very short-lived corrections. The forthcoming administration of Trump in the U.S. is expected to be pro-crypto if he follows through on the promises and helps support innovation in the industry. This expectation has seen the Bitcoin price break now the all-time high above 108, which we achieved on Coinbase. And still, while U.S. investors anticipate a 0.25% rate cut by Fed Chairman Jay Powell, imparting a hawkish outlook, while he indicated only 2 more rate cuts were set for 2025. The announcement also saw the S&P fall, potentially resulting in a knock-on effect currently seen in crypto as uncertainty replaces greed. Buy the dip mentality peaks, and you already know smart money is buying the dip. Always follow the smart money, not the stupid mofos with the cabbage hands. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, El Salvador buys 11 Bitcoin a day. Well, here's my understanding. They just got a big loan from the IMF, and what is Bukele going to do with that money? More than likely just buy more Bitcoin and stack accordingly. You feel me? El Salvador bought 1 million worth of Bitcoin a day after striking the $1.4 billion deal with the IMF. The country's National Bitcoin Office wrote that it had transferred over $1 million worth of Bitcoin to our strategic Bitcoin reserve. And shout out Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert. The move broke the streak of adding 1 Bitcoin per day. Yeah, 11 is a divine number. It should do 11 a day. President Bukele announced that back in 2020. And brought the country's holdings to 5,980 Bitcoin, worth 580 million, with Bitcoin trading at roughly 97, roughly where we're at right now. National Bitcoin Office Director Stacy Herbert said in the December 19th post, El Salvador will continue buying Bitcoin at possibly an accelerated pace, because now they got the capital. Bukele's government struck a financing agreement with the IMF, which asked the country to wind down some of the Bitcoin dealings. And I'm going to correct that because I spoke with Sergio. They're going to wind down their Shivo dealings. They're not winding down no Bitcoin dealings, so don't let the FUD get to you. Sometimes they will often manipulate headlines to make you think that something is happening, which is not really occurring. They are phasing out the Shivo wallet, and FYI, even the people in El Salvador, no one likes the Shivo wallet, is the word on the street. So they're winding that down. They're not winding down Bitcoin whatsoever. But the IMF said, this is what they published, El Salvador's government-led Bitcoin activity, transactions, and purchases would be confined. Bullshit. The country also agreed to make private sector acceptance of Bitcoin voluntary. It's always been voluntary, so more FUD. Allow taxes to be paid only in US dollars. Word on the street, nobody wants to pay taxes in Bitcoin, so it doesn't have any effect whatsoever. And I got this directly from Sergio, who's from El Salvador, just FYI. And unwind government involvement in the Shivo wallet. That's accurate because Shivo is not the government wallet, as some tend to believe. It's a private third party, and it tends to suck, is my understanding. So there's plenty of alternative options, such as Jack Mallers' Strike and other, Lightning wallets. Now, a Bitcoin office spokesperson said it will keep buying 1 Bitcoin a day, likely even more in the future, and we will not sell any of the current holdings, adding that Bitcoin continues to be our main strategy. And Stacy posted this the other day. I actually read this, so I'm not going to read it all right now, but Bitcoin remains legal tender. El Salvador actually secured a $3.5 billion funding deal with El Salvador. And things will continue, adoption will continue, and things will be onwards and upwards. Herbert said Bitcoin will remain legal tender. She added that the government-issued Shiva wallet will be sold or wound down, because like I said, it sucks, and that she expected private sector Bitcoin wallets will continue serving El Salvador. I was researching best wallets in just general, like mobile wallets, and I got Exodus. So Exodus is a great alternative, and again, Strike, Jack Mallers' company as well. The IMF executive board still needs to approve the deal with the country, which would mark the end of 4 years of negotiations strained by Bukele's Bitcoin policies, which the IMF said put the country at risk. We all know the IMF is not our friend, right? But here's my understanding. Bukele has the opportunity to borrow a little billions of dollars, and he gets to buy Bitcoin with it and make their nation that much more wealthy. Why wouldn't they? It's not like the IMF is forcing them to stop Bitcoin transactions. That's just all FUD. Everything will continue as is. They're going to continue stacking like there ain't no tomorrow, and it will always be Bitcoin country with or without the IMF loan. So just FYI, we're going to continue where no man has gone before. Let's discuss this Bitcoin strategic reserve, shall we? A Bitcoin Reserve Act may end the crypto 4-year boom-bust cycle. How about those apples? That's right. With speculation mounting that Trump may sign the executive order declaring a Bitcoin reserve. Day 1, Jan 20th, the same day Gensler goes home and gets his shine box, Nipsey. Or pass legislation to establish the reserve during his term. Many wonder if the move can lead to a crypto super cycle. Now we're talking. Cynthia Lummis introduced the Bitcoin Reserve Act earlier in the year. States like Texas and Pennsylvania filed similar proposals. Russia, Thailand, and Germany are reportedly considering proposals of their own, further ramping up the pressure. If governments are competing to secure their own stockpiles of the biddy, would we say goodbye to the 4-year boom-bust cycle of crypto prices that many attribute to the Bitcoin halving? Wow, that's actually for real too. What if we just went on a forever bull run? That's what Michael Saylor predicts. It's going to put an end to the 4-year cycles, and we just stay bullish forever. It's going up forever, Laura. So yeah, the Bitcoin Reserve Act could be a landmark moment for Bitcoin signaling its recognition as a legitimate global financial instrument. Quoting them here, every Bitcoin cycle has a narrative trying to push the idea that this one is different. But this one really is different. The conditions have never been so ideal. Crypto has never had a pro-crypto U.S. president who controls the Senate and the Congress. Facts. Lummis proposed the Bitcoin Act 2024 would enable the U.S. government to insert Bitcoin into the Treasury as a reserve asset by buying 200,000 of the biddy annually over 5 years. That's 1 million Bitcoin, virtually controlling, what is that, 2% of circulating supply? Or no, 5% of the circulating supply. Good Jesus, which could hold for 20 years. Why so bearish? If you're going to do it right, we hold for 100 years. Trump, if you're watching. Jack Mallers, founder of Strike, believes Trump has the potential to use the day 1 executive order to purchase the biddy, although he cautioned it would not equate to a million Bitcoin purchase. And now Dennis Porter of the Satoshi Act Fund, which supports the pro-Bitcoin U.S. policy bill, also believes that Trump is exploring enabling strategic Bitcoin reserves through an executive order. So far, Trump's team has not directly confirmed the claims. No, actually, Trump Jr., Eric Trump, who spoke at the Abu Dhabi event, pretty much did confirm the claims from my understanding. At least that's what I heard. But you guys let me know what you think. I think it's a big fat yes, but anything is possible until it occurs. So I want to just know your thoughts. $1 million question on everyone's mind. Will Trump establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Will he sign the bill which has already been introduced from Cynthia Lummis? Yay or nay? And if it's a yay, 2.2 million in play. If it's a nay, we still see 420 for the broskies. We're still going to 420. So we can't complain. Next target, let's discuss 500,000 in play, according to analyst Mikhail Van de Poppe. Then we'll discuss Cathie Wood's latest prediction from her recent interview. And then we'll do some live Q&A, and we'll premiere a brand new track, and we'll do an uncensored rumble today. It's been a minute. So yeah. The headline here reads, Mikhail Van de Poppe says Bitcoin could surge another 400% in the ongoing bull run and shares his particular timeline. That's right. He tells his followers on X Bitcoin could ultimately hit 500,000 in the current cycle. He uses the rainbow logarithmic growth channel curve chart, which aims to predict the Bitcoin long-term cycle lows and highs while filtering out the shorter-term volatility. Overlays of the rainbow color bands on the top of the LGC suggest the market sentiment at different price ranges, quoting the analysts here. Bitcoin rainbow chart, no diddy, shows some beautiful things. First of all, the previous top should have been way higher, as it didn't get into the extreme territory. Secondly, the longer the chart lasts, the higher the tops will be. If we get a bull to 2026, a target of $500,000 per coin, a $500,000 Bitcoin price isn't bad. And here's the rainbow chart right here. No diddy. Next up, the analyst suggests Bitcoin has likely hit the near-term peak, already due to the hawkish outlook announced by the Fed. However, he says the alts may start to rip, quoting him here. When it comes to the Bitcoin price action, I think we have sealed the high for now. The good part, the alts are ready to fire off when the labor market data is going to be worse, as that's going to provide a substantial correction on the yields. Finally, the chances of a longer cycle for crypto have significantly increased. Damn straight. Altcoins are dead, he says. That's what you hear. Let me tell you something. In my Fire Marshal Bill, let me tell you something. They are not. This cycle isn't. There's so much more to come, but this cycle will be full of the surprises. A longer cycle with the higher returns for market patient participants. And there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with a 500,000 price prediction, which is ultimately my bear scenario. That's my bear scenario as the cycle peak next year, 420. Am I based? Just a little bit for the broskies. But 2.2 million says Max, 1.1 million says JV. I just take the jersey and add the decimal in between the ones. Simple. Now for our feature story of the day. Cathie Wood foresees startup M&A surge with a 1 million Bitcoin price target under Trump. So let's break down the latest and greatest from the one and only Cathie Wood. As you can see right here, shout out Cathie. Cathie, founder of ARK Investments, predicts a surge in mergers and acquisitions, which is the M&A, and will follow Donald Trump's election and expects it to support innovative strategies. In a brand new interview with the Bloomberg, Wood said the Federal Trade Commission changes could ease regulatory barriers previously imposed that stifle the M&As. Wood also reaffirmed her stance on Bitcoin, anticipating Bitcoin surpassing 1 million by 2030. And that's her bear scenario. I've heard her say 3.5 million. That was even before Trump was elected as the president. So you already know. And attributing the bullish sentiment to Bitcoin's fixed supply and scarcity compared to gold, with high expectations for the upcoming Trump administration, Cathie foresees a dual impact, resulting in a boom for the M&A among tech startups and a potential parabolic price movement driven by the reduced regulatory friction. Wood projected that the wave of the startup M&As would follow Trump's election victory, predicting a rollback of the regulatory barriers hindering the private company buyouts, quoting her here. M&A has been prevented by the FTC. That's going to change, she said when speaking to Bloomberg Television, adding that deregulation is critically important. I repeat, deregulation is critically important. And according to the ARK Investment CEO, the Trump administration will likely create a more business-friendly environment, benefiting the venture-backed startups seeking acquisition opportunities. She anticipates a resurgence in liquidity events as buyers re-enter the market without previous regulatory constraints, allowing the market to engage more transparently and freely in price discovery for the new companies. Now, Wood also reiterated her optimistic look for the Bitcoin price, maintaining her prediction that Bitcoin could exceed 1 million by 2030. I'd say that's extremely bearish if you were to ask me, but having surged beyond 108,000 this year, fueled by the institutional interest, such as through the ETFs and due to the limited supply, Wood said that Bitcoin is becoming even more scarce than gold, because it is even more scarce than gold. They can continuously find new gold every time they look for it. In fact, Bukele just announced finding $3 trillion worth of the precious metal unmined in El Salvador. And what do you think he's going to do? Mine it and sell it for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the apex predator and all assets and commodities are going to go to zero against liability. But I digress. She compared gold and Bitcoin, stating that when the gold price increases, production goes up, as does the rate of increase in the supply of gold, a factor that cannot happen with Bitcoin. So you can say Bitcoin has true scarcity. Gold, relatively kind of scarce if they can stop finding more every time they look for it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Bitcoin's going to overtake the gold market cap, which is currently 17 trillion. You're going to see a great flipping in. And Peter Schiff, he's going to be turning in his grave if he's still alive. Who knows? Please, welfare check. Send it to Dorado, Puerto Rico. He's going to need it. The ARK Invest CEO shared congratulating the crypto industry in the U.S. after Trump nominated pro-crypto Paul Atkins to replace the current chairman, Gensler. Wood said the Fed chair Jay Powell previously described Bitcoin as a digital version of gold, which aligns with the CEO's positive outlook that the crypto market is still in the early innings. Here's one of my favorite quotes from the high priest. Gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. I'll repeat it. Gold, it's the poor man's Bitcoin. You can't afford Bitcoin, you just buy gold, Peter. Precisely what you've been doing. Comparing Bitcoin to gold, December 5th, Wood weighed gold's 15 trillion market cap against Bitcoin's 2 trillion market cap, suggesting significant potential growth for the crypto. So yeah, run the math. So if Bitcoin's market cap is currently sitting around 2 trillion, and we got to get to 15 trillion-ish to eclipse gold, that's a 7.5x from here. What happens when you 7.5x the Bitcoin price? We're talking, I don't know, is that like $780,000 Bitcoin or 750 G's? You let me know, family, and let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree with ARK Invest CEO, Miss Cathie Wood? Let me know, and I'll read your comments out loud, and welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream.